time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Tilani Pires. The President says IMF agreement is a testimony of the government's commitment to carry out the necessary reforms. All the developmental work presented by the Urban Development Authority will be reviewed shortly. The applications for recorrection of the GC Advanced Level Examination will be called from 19th to 30th of this month. Minister Mahinda Amaravira points out that the government and the opposition has a responsibility of rescuing the country from the present economic crisis. The Petroleum Minister says prices of the all types oil should be amended first day of each month. The UN inspection team's trip to the nuclear reactor in Ukraine delayed further by shelling. Reacting to Sri Lanka's staff-level agreement with the International Monetary Fund for a loan of $2.9 billion, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said the agreement is a testimony of the government's commitment to carry out the necessary reforms to offer a better life to Sri Lankan citizens. He said it paves the way for the provision of financial support from the IMF and other development partners that should help Sri Lanka to address the current external imbalances and to restart the growth engine. The President said he is grateful to the IMF team, the Minister of Finance and the Central Bank of Sri Lanka for the hard work and dedication shown to come to that agreement in record time. All the developmental work presented by the Urban Development Authority will be reviewed shortly. The whole aim of the initiative is to revise those developmental work to make those match with the present situation and to upgrade those projects. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga has instructed the officials of the authority to review all projects that are to be planned and implemented in the near future. The minister also said a committee comprising representatives from the local government bodies and officials of the authority have been appointed for the special committee appointed in this regard. The Department of Examinations says that applications for recorrection of the 2021 GCE advanced level subjects will be called from the 19th to 30th of this month. The Commissioner General also said those who could not apply for the 2022 advanced level examination can also apply for the exam before the 8th of this month. He added that the applications can be submitted through the official website of the Examinations Department, donets.lk, or the website onlineexams.gov.lk, or the official mobile application of the department, DOE. School applicants should apply for the exam through their respective principals. Applicants are also requested to read the technical instructions and common instructions and to watch the instruction video available on the above-mentioned websites before filling the application. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says prices of all types of oil should be amended first day of the month. He said it should occur according to the pricing formula, but it is not practiced today. He said the Sapukaskanda crude oil refinery is back in operation and the public will be benefited from the process shortly. Speaking in Parliament today, Minister Kanchana said the government should also adhere to some management theories in this critical juncture to provide services for all the people equally. Therefore, the government had to minimize the oil supply to a certain extent, but oil is readily available for the essential services, the minister added. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Department of Irrigation says that the water levels of several rivers are rising. The department said, following the prevailing heavy rainfall, that the water levels of the Kalu, Ging and Nilvala rivers are currently on the rise. It also said a minor flood situation has also occurred in the low-lying areas of the Kalu River. Meanwhile, the landslide early warning, which was issued for 8 districts with effect from last evening due to the prevailing adverse weather condition, has been further extended. The National Building Research Organisation yesterday warned of possible landslides in Kalutara, Colombo, Galle, Kandy, Kagalla, Matale, Nuwara and Ratnapura districts. The organisation also said that red warnings have also been issued for some identified areas of the aforementioned districts. The Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that the government as well as the opposition has a responsibility of rescuing the country from the present economic crisis. Taking part in the debate on the interim budget in Parliament today, he said that benefits given by the budget will be given to everyone without political differences. He said 12,000 hectares were cultivated during the Yala season this year. Therefore, he said there is no necessity to import rice. MP Vajrabe Vadana said it is the duty of all 225 parliamentarians to request for an inquiry to find how the country went bankrupt. He said the Parliamentary Select Committee should be appointed to conduct the inquiry. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
All the developmental work presented by the Urban Development Authority will be reviewed shortly. The whole aim of the initiative is to revise those developmental work to make those match with the present situation and to upgrade those projects. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga has instructed the officials of the authority to review all the projects that are to be planned and implemented in the near future. The minister also said a committee comprising representatives from the local government bodies and officials of the authority have been appointed for the special committee appointed in this regard. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watchlight tonight, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board has announced an 18-hour water cut will be in effect in Colombo and its suburbs from 8 a.m. Saturday, September 3rd till 2 a.m. on Sunday, September 4th. The Water Board said Colombo, Dehiwala Mount Lavinia, Sri Javadanapura Kotte, Kaduwala municipality areas, Maharagama, Bodalasgamuwa, Kolonnawa municipality areas, Kotikawatta, Mulleriyawa, Ratmalana and Katubadda will be affected. That came to you in Watchlight. Coming up, world news and the headlines first. The UN inspection team's trip to the nuclear reactor in Ukraine delayed further by shelling. India's first indigenous aircraft carrier to be commissioned. Wife of ex-Malaysian PM Najib gets 10 years jail for bribery. A planned visit by UN experts to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant complex in Ukraine was delayed for several hours on Thursday due to shelling, but the team leader said they were still determined to complete their safety inspection. Russia and Ukraine accused each other of attempting to sabotage the International Atomic Energy Agency mission to the plant in southern central Ukraine, which is controlled by Russian forces but operated by Ukrainian personnel. Energostom, Ukraine's state nuclear company, said the IAEA convoy was at a Ukrainian checkpoint about 20 kilometers, 12 miles from the front line, waiting for the situation near the plant to improve. Vikrant, India's first indigenously built aircraft carrier, will be commissioned tomorrow in the southern state of Kerala. It took 13 years to build the ship. After a formal commissioning ceremony attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday morning, the 45,000-ton Vikrant will be given the prefix INS, Indian Naval Ship. The 262m 860-foot long and nearly 60m 197-foot tall vessel is India's first designed and built aircraft carrier. It can accommodate 30 fighter planes and helicopters. The INS Vikramaditya, India's other aircraft carrier, has a capacity of more than 30 aircraft. The UK Royal Navy's HMS Queen Elizabeth can carry about 40 aircraft, while the US Navy's Nimitz-class carriers can carry more than 60. The wife of former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak was sentenced to 10 years in prison on 3 charges of bribery. Rosma Manzoor was convicted on 3 charges of soliciting and receiving bribes in order to help a company win a $279 million project. The High Court ruled that the sentences would run concurrently. It comes days after her husband was sentenced to 12 years in prison for corruption. The 70-year-old is well known for her passion for luxury goods and jewelry. Rosma, who had pleaded not guilty, sat quietly in the dock as High Court Judge Zaini Mazlan delivered the verdict on Thursday afternoon. Rosma will also have to pay a fine of $216.45 million, a record amount in Malaysia's history. Back to the world news headlines. The UN inspection team's trip to the nuclear reactor in Ukraine delayed further by shelling. India's first indigenous aircraft carrier to be commissioned. Wife of ex-Malaysian PM Najib gets 10 years jail for bribery. That ends world news. Continuing with development news, Sri Lankan stocks rose for the third session on Tuesday to end at a 5-month high after the International Monetary Fund confirmed a 48-month, $2.9 billion extended fund facility. The main all-share price index increased 2.02% or 183.49 points to 9,925.81, the highest level since March 30th. The market generated 4 billion rupees in turnover, which was higher than the average daily turnover of 3.14 billion rupees this year. A market analyst predicted that the market was lifted by the IMF staff level agreement. Meanwhile, investors believe that normalcy will return sooner rather than later. That ends development news.
Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Sports cricket. Sri Lanka is looking to enter the Super 4 stage when they meet Bangladesh in the deciding Asia Cup cricket fixture. The match is being played at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. The match commenced at 7:30 p.m. local time. Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to field first. Batting first, Bangladesh scored 88 runs for 4 at the end of 11 overs a short while ago. Moving on to tennis, after defeating second seed Anett Kontaveit on yet another remarkable night at the US Open, Serena Williams demonstrated that she has no intention of ending her singles career without a fight. The 605th ranked Williams, who will turn 41 next month, defeated the Estonian in New York by scores of 7-6, 7-4, 2-6, 6-2. The American, who is currently in the third round, recently declared her intention to retire after a home major match. On Friday, Williams will play Ajla Tomljanovic of Australia. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The International Monetary Fund announced a 4-year $2.9 billion extended fund facility with Sri Lanka subject to debt restructuring and prior actions. By 2024, the budget must achieve a primary surplus of 2.3% in accordance with the program. The primary deficit in 2022 is anticipated to be 4% of GDP. The IMF stated that these reforms include expanding the tax bases for corporate income tax and VAT, as well as making personal income tax more progressive. The IMF added that by 2024, the program hopes to achieve a primary surplus of 2.3% of GDP. That came to you in Business News.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, in order to create good investment opportunities and secure investors, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has appointed 8 task forces consisting of heads of the public and private sectors. The President's media division said these task forces were empowered under the leadership of President's Secretary, Mr. Saman Ekanaika. The heads of these task forces and 74 members representing all the government institutions related to this task participated. And encouraging them, President's Secretary, Mr. Minister Saman Ekanayake said that this is another milestone in the government's long-term efforts to create a favourable environment for investors. That ends economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall Gold Award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LOLC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
Finally, the weather report. The Department of Meteorology says the low-level atmospheric disturbance is gradually moving away from Sri Lanka. Showers will occur at times in the western, Sabragamua and northwestern provinces and in Jaffna, Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the Ua province and in Batticaloa and Ampara districts during the evening or night. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President says IMF agreement is a testimony of the government's commitment to carry out the necessary reforms. All the developmental work presented by the Urban Development Authority will be reviewed shortly. The applications for recorrection of the GCE Advanced Level Examination will be called from 19th to the 30th of this month. Minister Mahinda Amaravira points out that the government and the opposition has a responsibility of rescuing the country from the present economic crisis. The Petroleum Minister says prices of the all types oil should be amended first day of the month. The UN inspection team's trip to the nuclear reactor in Ukraine delayed further by shelling. That ends this news broadcast.